Greetings. Welcome to the Yang Style Long Form Tai Chi course. I'm Michael Gilman. This lesson we look at some wonderful transitional movements following the last lesson of Partition of the Wild Horse's Mane. We now go into a repeated section of ward off left and grasping the bird's tail, which consists of right push upward, roll back, press forward and push. And we add in another single whip. And this single whip I like a lot. It's different and there's a lot of interesting principles involved in it. So I'm sure that you'll enjoy this section, and we'll also be reviewing the previous movements starting at the beginning of the third section. Okay, so here we go. Start with warm up, shoulder width stance. Relaxing, turning the waist. This simple movement really helps to bring the focus into the movement from the center. So pay attention to moving your center, let everything else just follow along, and relax. I think most of us approach Tai Chi for relaxation, and just as you're moving, constantly think of just sort of melting down the tension and relaxing. Okay, rolling down. And up. Good. Shaking. Loosen free, loosen free. What can be lighter and what can be freer? Light and free. Throw the arm away. From the center, always connecting everything to the center, using the center to open up the arm, send the energy down the arm. Good. Shake. Always, fidgeting around as much as you can. When I was a youth, they always said, don't fidget. Well, I think that's wrong. Fidget as much as you want. You've got my permission, you school kids. Fidget. Good. Shaking. Shake a leg. Loose and free, light and easy. Ankle, knee. This all comes from the hip. Then kick the hip joint out, open up. Good. Other leg, shaking. Breathing. While you're doing this, let your breath relax. Breathe into your belly. Good. Shake out. Kick out. Shake out. Turn the waist. Rolling down and up. Integrating. Make sure your feet are solidly on the ground, head's lifting, body open. Feel from your center sort of this expanding out in all directions feeling. Don't use tension, just allow from the center this sort of vibration, the chi moving outward. In fact, not just in the body, but out further and further. Maybe, 1.5 feet, 2 feet out. You can feel this sort of energetic bubble that you're standing in, relaxing. It extends up above your head, down below your feet, and your back. Good. Take an integration breath. And allow allow this to melt down any tension that you have brought to your practice. Just relaxing. 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 All right. I think as a warm-up, what we'll do is we'll do a little, we call chest openers, a little something to open the chest up. You know, we have our major breathing apparatus, the diaphragm and the lungs sit in here. We have the intercostal muscles in between the ribs. We want to expand all that to make our breathing more easy. So we'll use a bow and sit stance. So step ahead with happens to be my left foot. We're going to use the bow and sit stance. So we're going to inhale, open, and sort of just gently kind of arching back. And then exhale forward, gently leaning forward. So it's inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Open and close. Open and close. And just kind of open yourself up and gather. Just feel that lovely kind of openings, kind of stretching. When you lean back, don't forget to just gently support your low back with just a little bit of tension by clenching your buttocks just a little bit. Good, so we do it 10 times. Good, other side, right foot forward. Inhale, exhale, inhale. So not only are we working on our breathing, we're also activating the qua right here, stretching the spine, certainly the chest. This can be done at any speed you like. It can be very easy and soft. Or more vigorous to activate the chi a little bit more. Very good. Good. Integration. All right, this starts to warm things up. All right, so let's, what I'm going to do is review through from the beginning of the third section, carry tiger to mountain, roll back, press forward and push, diagonal single whip, and parting the wild horse's mane. And then we'll add in, I'll demonstrate what we're going to do, and then I'll call in some help to demonstrate the applications, and then we'll work on them. Okay, so I think for the fun of it, I'll start off from the front and go through this section from facing you. And I think we'll just kind of break it up a bit, right? Since we've worked on it. Now, carry tiger to mountain. As we sink and open, it's a little bit different. We're going to be dropping our weight onto the left foot and turning it in at the same time and emptying because if you remember that there was a punch coming into my center, I wanted to get out of the way, right? I can't get out of the way this way, so I'm going to get out of the way in this direction. So as I drop, this toe turns in, and the right hand hooks onto it, leads it to the side. We come back and throw the energy out. We then hook it back, grab it, pulling it back, squish, remember, then open back, pressing slightly down, and push. Diagonal single whip was like single whip number 2, that we neutralized. Now remember, with your hook, that this area here, the little hand hooking around, the little finger, the little hand, that's our little hand. Okay, the little finger is going to do most of the work. Remember, we're not going to grab and pull. With these hooks, this wraps around, the little finger makes a sort of a hook, catches into the wrist, and gently leads the energy away. Okay, so coming back here. So push away. So here it's coming from the diagonal. We hook, lead. In this case, the left hand is supporting, could be pushing something or blocking. Step to the diagonal and throw over the leg, making the hook with the hand. Partition of the wild horse's mane. En garde, neutralize in, step to the side. The first one is slice, cutting, say, to the neck. We then relax, join, lead to the side, pull, step behind and throw over the leg. Repeating to the other side, join, lead over, pull, step, and throw over the leg. Now remember that this one is a little bit, it can be a little bigger than slanting flying, but most of the time they're done the same way. Slanting flying and partition of the wild horse's mane are done. They're pretty much the same movement. Only in order to make it a little bit different, sometimes it's a little stretched out. Okay, let's do it from the back. We'll flow through it this time. Sink and turn in. Pivot, step 30 or slightly to the right as you throw. Grab hold and pulling in, and then this squishes. For press, open, neutralizing down, and push. Diagonal single whip, coming back. Turn into the corner. Grab, lead, pivot on the toe, step to the corner, and diagonal single whip. Partition of the wild horse's mane. En garde, straight to that right wall. Neutralize in, pivot. Step slightly to the right and open. Sink back, relax. Neutralize around. Step and open. Relax, pull in. Neutralize around. Step behind and open. Okay, now these replace steps are a simple step. It's a very natural way to change position. We're going to be doing this for this next section for the grasping the bird's tail, the same replace step. So you want to make sure that when you replace, you come in, and I want this other side forward. So it's just a matter of putting the forward foot back around where the back foot is and changing. You're going to set it down at an angle to the forward direction, right? So, you know, a very nice practice is to just do this sort of in place. You see? And you can do this lovely parting movement You could do this for hours. This is I don't know. I find this very relaxing. Okay? So this is gather and release. Gather, gather, release. Gather, gather, release. Very important. This feeling of gathering into the hip joint and releasing. Okay? I know of no sport, no activity that uses physical movement that doesn't gather energy into the quad, into the hip, into this waist area. You know, when you think about golf, how it's right in here, in the waist, in the back, and then there's this release. And off it goes. In tennis, you know, it's gathering here and release. In baseball, it's gather and release. If you're going to throw the football, you would never see, you know, a football quarterback just stand there and go there. No, it's all back into the hip, back here. Oh, where's it going? And then releasing. So no matter what your activity is going to be improved by your practicing Tai Chi. No matter what your sport or activity, walking, bicycling, whatever it is, it's going to be improved by being conscious of your quad area. Okay, so this, let me demonstrate the next section, what we're going to be doing, and then I'll call out my assistant and we'll work on it. Okay, I think for this, I better go facing forward. So, let's see. So in the form, we're going over here, so I guess we'll just go over here. Okay, the next is ward off left. So it's very much the same thing as we've been doing. Go back, replace, step. But now instead of this cutting or throwing over the leg movement, what I'm going to do is just bounce the person away, using this regular Pong energy. Now, partition of the wild horse's mane is what we call lié, or splitting energy. Here, there's this strong sideways diagonal kind of motion. Pong, the energy tends to be more uplifting and forward. So when we do this Pong, it's going to be bouncing the person away to the front. And it's a rounder, it's more of a round, it's sort of, Pong is sort of more like a bumper of a car as opposed to a revolving door. I've never said that before. I think that's sort of an interesting analogy. Okay, so ward off left, relaxing, stepping around, pull to uproot, bong, bounce them away. Next, I'll explain this. This is right push upward, done in a little bit different fashion. Roll back, press forward, and push. Single whip. Now I'll just show you from the back. It's kind of hard to see what's going on from the back, but I'll show you from the front in a second. Okay, so here's the section. Here's this section from the front. Ward off left, neutralize, pull step, boom, right push upward, sink, over. Now this is going to be an arm bar, an arm breaking kind of motion, leading to a pong upward, roll back, press forward, and push. Single whip. Now watch. This is beautiful. I love this. Okay, with the little finger, we hook, lead the energy underneath the arm, return the energy. That's number one. 2, second person, is blocking and striking. Okay. Most of the single whips tend to have 2 people that they're interacting with. So the first person in the front, we neutralize, bonk. Somebody over here, we neutralize, bonk. Yeah. Okay, so if I can call my assistant out, we'll work on these. So today we have Rose Soini, again, one of our dear and gifted individuals. Hey, Rose. Okay, now let's look at this section following parting the wild horse's mane. So when she comes in with this punch, what we were doing here is for partition of the wild horse's mane, what we did is we stepped around, and I stepped behind her here, and that this hand was pretty much here, and I can disrupt her root with using this leg, and then I threw her back this way over the leg. And this case for warding off is very much the same thing. Now, let's do it on this side a second so you can see this. Now, if Rose is going to punch me in the belly, okay. So when she goes to punch me in the belly, all I really have to do is move back. You see, she's all, her power is expired just about, and she's very vulnerable. So rather than trying to stop her, now she's got a good root and she can push me away. So as she punches, I go back, turn, like always. Even if she were to hit me, it would be a glancing kind of blow. So now she's expired, pretty much. So what I'm going to do is, this would of course be, now one of the beauties about replace step is, now you see how far I am away from her. If I tried to do anything back, I'm too far really away from her to do anything. So with replace step, you pull your toe in. I could kick her quite comfortably. Now I want to come in a little bit. So when I replace, I'm going to step in a little bit. If I was, if we were real close, well, maybe I'd want to step backward a little bit to gain the proper distance. So replacing step really allows you to make distance changes. So here, we come around, and in this case what I'm going to do is just bong her away. Just kind of throw her, because this sometimes is done on the edge of a pier, you see, and then you just knock them off, and then you don't have to worry about doing anything other than getting rid of them into the water, right? She loves to swim, all right? So bong. Okay, so next is right push upward. Now this right push upward is really a fun right push upward. She's powering in. She is so strong. It's just, rides horses all the time and has a mother she takes care of. God. Okay, so I don't want to fight against her, but I do want to keep my space. Now remember, if she's out here, don't let me push your hand down at all, okay? Just keep it right there. Don't let me push it down. You see? basically with one finger, I can push it down because it's way out here. If she was in her center, in her root, in her space here, see now, you see, I need to, okay. Anyway, she's very strong there. So I want to keep her out as far as I can. So in this case, I'm in my power. As she pushes, I turn. Now you see, she is out of her power, and I still am in my power. So we lead her over. Then what I'm going to do is take her over to this side. And as I do that, I'm going to step in and do this arm bar. You see, if I snapped it, it would hurt. Or I can just kind of lift her up a little bit. See, she's out of her root now, and I can just walk her out of the picture. So this is very good. And in four hands practice, when we do join hands, you see this is the movement. Here, when I go to push her, she takes me up and over and then out of the picture. So it's the movement that we use when we do four hands practice, but I'm going to use it here. So when she pushes, and I have to step right in because she has her other fist, and so she could attack me. But if I do this quickly, I step in, and then I have her. Okay, so that's right push upward, roll back, press forward, and push is as we. There's so many variations. In one of these lessons, we'll go over all of them, or quite a few. We'll share you some of those, but right now we just do it as we do it. Now this single whip. Okay, so it's going to be single whip. This is going to be in the form in this direction, but we'll do it this way again so you can see it. So she's going to punch to my center. Let's go to this side, I think. So as she punches to my center, I'm going to empty. At the same time, I'm going to join and lead. Now, we've worked on in the past, as this comes in, you see, I'm going to hook onto her. If I grab her in some way, well, I'm committed to this, and it's when here we are fighting against each other. So I'd rather not have her fighting at me. So what I want to do is just lead her in. Now you see this hand is free to do what we call hit with the part of the wrist. Not the hand bones, but the end of the radius and ulna, the arm bones, are right here. These are very solid. It might not appear to be. Down here, it's easy to break these little bones of the hand, but this is very solid. This is very solid implement. So we use this, you'll see in a lot of Tai Chi, particularly to the chin, we use this, bam, or to the nose, that kind of thing. Or it can go to the ribs. It can hurt quite a bit in the ribs. So in this case, I neutralize, and then this, bam, hits out. And this is all done with the turning of the waist. Okay, say I've dealt with this person. This second person is going to be punching slightly upward to my face. So this is, just, okay? So it's a sort of a block and then a hit down like so. So that's not too bad. Yeah, so I guess that's it. All right, thank you very much. Go back to your training. Some people don't even have to work at being tough, Okay, so watch. I'll do it in the form section, where the way we do it in the form. First part, neutralize back. Okay, now they're extended, replace, take them over, close them up, step in, and bong them away. Then they're pushing in. So this time we lead them to the side. Now it's very easy when you're doing this to raise the shoulder and make yourself very weak. No, you're going to hook this up to your center. So when you turn your center, when you turn your center, the elbow actually sinks. So now, if somebody were to push on this, they would be pushing on my center, as opposed to up here, they'd be pushing on the shoulder joint, which is weaker. Go open. Then, replace. All this comes over. It looks like it's going to be sort of the same thing that we've just been doing, only this time, this is going to hook up, come up underneath the elbow. Now, we just turn the waist, right push upward. Then, gentle, easy, roll back, press forward, and push. Single whip, sink back, turn, join, hook, lead, gather the energy into the right quad, release the energy from the right quad forward, and you notice that the left toe is going to pivot. We're then going to step towards the left wall. That as I shift my weight onto that, the left hand comes up, blocks out, and then collapses, sinking, what we call the wrist sinks down, delivering the energy downward and outward. Ward off left. Shift back, pull in the toe. Replace. Bring the energy over to the right side. Gather into the right quad. Release from the right quad, bong. Right push upward. Gather into the right quad. Still in the right quad, right? Step around, still in the right quad. Now, gather into the left quad. Arm bar, still in the left. Then release from the left, out. Roll back, okay. Press, and push. Okay, single whip. So you come all the way to straight. Now this is going to come in at kind of an angle because you're neutralizing. Join, lead underneath. Okay. Gather into the right quad. Release this toe. Then, from here, we're going to be working on this more carefully, but just notice how the left hand just naturally comes up. I don't know why a sound is appropriate, but it seems to be. Okay. Need a soundtrack here. Step out. Okay. Make sure don't release the quad energy when you step. Then, boom, boom. Yeah. Soundtracks really do help if you give that kind of boom, boom, it really helps to visualize. Okay, so let's work on the first piece of this. The grasping the bird's tail. So in the form, we're over here. So the foot movements are the same thing that we have been doing. Replace step. Pull in the toe. Step around. Now, you want to feel comfortable stepping close, stepping far, stepping narrow, stepping wide. However you do, but what you want to make sure you do, when you replace, is not to take the energy out of the left quad until you really have a root. Then shift, roll up the backside, and really commit right onto that foot. Step and pong. Okay. Same thing again. So you pull in, replace wherever it is. Sometimes this replace step is thought of as a kick downward, kick to the knee, kick to the foot. gather, roll up the back toe, step in and up. Roll back, press forward, and push. Okay, let me do it to facing you. Turn and pull in. Yeah? Notice the waist. Turn. So now my waist is facing the left corner. Step. Now my waist is facing the right corner. Step slightly to the left and pong. Pull in. My waist is facing to the right corner. Replace. My waist is facing to the left corner. And up. Yeah, once again. This is ward off left. Right push upward. Roll back. Press. And push. Okay. Once again, in following along in the correct direction. Ward off left. Right push upward. Roll back. Press forward. And push. So I think at this stage, probably the most important things for you to really be concerned about are the identification and use of the qua and the use of the torso to make everything happen. So you want to be careful that you are constantly gathering energy into the qua and releasing energy out of the qua. You also want to make sure that every motion that you do is done from the torso, not just arm motions. Then your movements will be harmonious, balanced, strong, and effective. Smooth and easy and relaxed. Right. So do be aware of that, and do lots of remember the robins where we were working, and the little robin kind of exercises, and you know, all the things that we do, the bow and sit stance. You cannot practice your bow and sit stance enough. You know, so when you're back, you're gathering and releasing. Gathering and releasing. It's just the key to Tai Chi. I mean, one of the keys. Do you remember what the master key to Tai Chi is? Intention. Intention. Now, don't forget that. If we have time, I want to talk about that, but we'll see. Okay. So once more, reviewing, and I'll do it from the front. From partition. Sink back. Gather. Gather to your qua and release. Right push upward. Turn. Replace. Step in and release. Roll back. Press forward. And push. Okay, let's work on single whip. Now watch again. 1 coming back, 2 come to the forward, 3 neutralize underneath the arm, 4 release the energy straight. Step towards your new direction. Neutralize up and relax down. Single whip. Okay, let's look at the foot movements in the direction that we're going to be doing them. They're not really, I don't think, any different than the other single whips, right? 1 coming straight back. 2 turn in, making sure this toe goes all the way back to the forward direction. The weight stays centered on the left foot. Now let's see this from the front. 1 coming back. 2 turning. Now we do this so often in Tai Chi. This closed, it looks, you know, it looks so strange. I remember when I first learned this, it looks so strange. Like, oh my God, this is so out of balance. This is very strong structure. This is very strong, right? It weakens if you go too far. If I go out a little bit more to the left, to the outside of my left foot, the whole structure falls apart. I'm going to, fall over. But if the weight stays centered into this left foot, this becomes very strong. And there's praying mantis, Gung Fu uses this kind of thing a lot. It's because it's a very protective for the crotch. It's hard for somebody to kick you in the crotch, if you're like this. So, it's actually a lot stronger than it looks. 1 coming back. 2 turn straight ahead. 3 2 turns. 3 gather. Weight sinks now on the right. Release. Pivot. Pivot. Now, when I say release the energy, we gather the energy into the qua. It's like we're loading a spring. And wherever you point the inlet, we'll say it's a tube. You load something into this tube and compress the spring. Now, wherever you point the end of the tube and you release, it's going to go where the tube focuses it to go. So we want to be clear about where we want the chi to go to when we release it. And Tai Chi, like many of the other internal arts, when you release it, you don't really just throw it away. It's sort of like you release it, but you've got to tether onto it so you can pull it back in. Or like a bungee kind of thing. So you go, and it pops back in, as opposed to, where'd it go? You don't want to throw your energy away. Whoop, and it pulls right back into the center. So always in Tai Chi, we have this, the cord is attached to the center, whoop, whoop, and it comes right back in. Okay, so when I say we gather and release, we're not really just throwing it away. We are directing it someplace, and then we're going to pull it right back in. Okay. So we're using our intention to help us decide where it goes and how it gets back. So here, now the energy is in the left, now it's in the right. Now, if I don't direct it, I want it to go to my right wrist. As I release it, I want to release it into the right wrist. If I don't pay attention to this, and I could release it, if I just release it, what's going to happen, because the way my body is curled, it's going to go up and back here someplace. If I allow this leg to just straighten, it's going to push me back this way. I don't. As I press and as this quad gets released, it's coming from here to the waist, and then from the waist it's being pushed out by my mind. My mind is directing it to where it wants to go. This is what we call the intention. Energy follows the mind. Energy follows the mind. The chi follows the mind. So where you put your mind, it's going to go. Here, I design a little laser beam that goes right down and out through that arm. If I just don't pay attention, I could easily send the energy back there. Okay, so when I say release, it doesn't mean release just letting go, and do focus on what you want, where you want the energy to go. 1, relaxing. 2, so this joins, leads, gather, release, straight. Don't let the shoulder get involved. It's just twisting. Twisting motion. Here is twist, gather, release. Okay? Join, lead, release. It's just an easy twisting motion, right? Gather, lead, release. Gather, lead, release. Gather, lead, release. It's all just turn, turn, turn. Look, the arm is not doing anything much. Okay? Turn, turn, turn. It's not at all. Right? You can see how disjointed that looks, and it's so weak and ineffectual. Whereas if you use your torso, it's strong, solid, and easy. Twisting is one of the great exercises for spine. You see, when you twist, you're massaging the kidneys. Do this at home, right? When you're twisting, as I twist here, this kidney is getting squished. This kidney is getting squished. So we're massaging the internal organs. The liver. Oh, here. Yeah. So you're massaging the internal organs, working the hips. Of course, we're getting nice, gentle, easy shoulder exercise. Opening up the shoulder and chest. If you do this hard, sometimes it's very good to do these kind of motions with a lot of dynamic tension. You get to feel, okay, there's some pec exercise here, pectoralis muscle, buttocks, the leg, this opposite leg is getting work. And if you do it hard, you can really see the muscles that are involved. Even if you don't activate them much, they're going to get their exercise. Okay, so once again. 1, 2, lead, twist, twist. Now, step to the right, angle to the left at a right angle, and using your body, using the body. This is a block, block. It's just moving with my body, block, slightly up and out. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. This is actually going to come from the center, from the torso. 1, 2. The energy comes up and down. The energy comes up and out. 1, 2. 1, 2. 2, 2, 2. Join, lead. 1, 2. Now this 2, inside what's going to happen, as this is setting, there's a slight more pressure outward into the right hand to balance this motion. It's like 2. If I exaggerated, 2, 2. But it's all going to happen more inside. So this isn't going to do too much, but there is going to be a certain balancing of energy to happen to that side. Okay, so let's do it in the proper direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Single whip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so let's put this in the proper direction together with the rest of what we got. Ward off left, replace, sink, gather, pong, release, relax. Replace, come up for your arm bar, relax your shoulders and turn. Roll back, press forward, and push. Single whip, come back and join. And out. Step in, block, and drop. Yeah. So those are lovely movements, aren't they? And this really makes this whole section quite unified and complete. So what I'm going to do is let's go through the whole third section, and then I'll just go right on into the next lesson. What we're going to get to next time is Fair Lady Works at Shuttles, which is a beautiful long series of beautiful movements. And then I'll keep going if we have more time, and we'll just fade out at the end of that. So I hope that you've enjoyed this lesson as much as I have, and keep up practicing, and good luck to you. So I think I'll do it facing the front. Carry tiger to mountain, join, sink, and throw. Roll back. This is hooking, remember, pressing inward, press. Open, pressing down, and push. Diagonal single whip. Join. This is very much like the one we're doing now, how you're leading. And over. Partition of the wild horse's mane. Neutralize in. Step out, slice. Come back to the center. Replace. Okay. Step behind this time, and slanting flying. This is a little more direct, a little more sideways energy. Back. Yeah. Parting the wild horse's mane. Come here. Ward off left, come back, over, right push upward, Don't forget, kind of come into an arm bar. Roll back. Press forward. Push. Single whip. Fair lady. Lower it off.